no turning back. Even while we sleep, we will find you acting on your best behavior. Turn your back on Mother Nature. Everybody wants to rule the world. It's my own design. It's my own remorse. You help me to decide. Help me make the most of freedom and of pleasure. Nothing ever lasts forever. Everybody wants to rule the world. There's a room where the light won't find you, holding hands while the walls come tumbling down. When they do, I'll be right behind you. So glad we almost made it. So sad they had to fade it. But everybody wants to rule the world. This indecision, married with a lack of vision. Everybody wants to rule. Say that you'll never need it. One headline, why believe it? Everybody wants to rule the Everybody wants to rule the world.
What a great version of that song. Kari, thank you very much for making the time for this interview on Serenade to a Cuckoo. Quite a few of our listeners already know you through your visits to the Cuckoo chat room, where you and your music are already popular. Your two CDs, 2021's Wild as the Wind and 2023's If When You Go, are very popular here and are my favorite vocal albums of the last 2 years. Both albums have received accolades in the jazz publications, including an editor's pick in Jazz Times for Wild as the Wind and a glowing 4-star review in Downbeat for If When You Go. How are you doing all this?
Well, first of all,
let me say it's a pleasure to be with you because I have missed being on the chat on Serenade to a Cuckoo on Fridays. My schedule changed and I now work Friday mornings. And so I've missed you guys, but I'm so glad to be here. And how am I doing this? I wake up every morning and I try to do one thing that makes an improvement on the day before. That's what I do. That's all I do.
Well, you certainly seem to be accomplishing that. But it is remarkable that you seem to have come out of nowhere to release 2 outstanding albums that feature your uniquely personal, mature vocal style. Where were you?
I've been doing music sort of as a side hustle or a side project for many, many years. And when I moved to Southern California in 2019, it was then that I really said, okay, I'm going to kind of stop doing everything I was doing before, and I'm going to start doing music full time and really take it seriously. And I had an album already in the can. It was done. It was ready to go. It was mixed and mastered. I just hadn't released it. And so in 2020, during the pandemic, I thought, well, there's no better time to do this. And I have all the time in the world to do it. So why not now? And I reached out to kind of as many people as I could in the industry to say, hey, I'm going to do this thing. Do you know anyone in PR? Do you know anyone in radio? Do you know, and I was just trying to sort of build a team from scratch. And I found a publicist who was willing to take me on sight unseen, kind of based on the names on the album, because she knew a lot of the guys on the album. And she put together a campaign that was probably one of the most impossible campaigns to run because no one knew me. You're exactly right. I came from nowhere and no one knew my name. No one knew my sound. But what they did know was Shelley Berg and Dean Parks and Greg Field. And they knew, Roy Hargrove. They knew people who were on the album. And so they listened, I think probably in part because of that. And getting into the radio side of things with Shauna from Jazz Dog. She put the word out. She got the CD out there. And so it was with this very small 3-person team, in addition to me, we just kind of attacked the industry and tried to reach as many people as we could.
You're being very modest. The music was irresistible.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. It got a really nice, warm response, and I'm really proud of that. Really, truly. In the morning, you go gunning for the man who stole your water, and you fire till he is done it. But they catch you at the border, and the mourners, they are singing as they drag you by your feet. But the hangman isn't hanging, so they put you on the street. high climber, then you find your only friend in a room with your two-timer, and you're sure you're near the end. But then you love a little wild one, and she brings you only sorrow. All the time you know she's smiling. You'll be on your knees tomorrow, but you go back. You go back, and the wheels keep on turning. Round and round and round you go back. You go back, and you do it again. Well, you swear and kick and beg us that you're not a gambling man. Then you find you're back in Vegas with a handle in your hand. Those black cards can make you money, so you hide them when you're able. In the land of milk and honey, you must put them on. You must put them on the table. And the wheels keep turning around. You go back. You go back. Oh, you go back. Oh, and the wheels, they turn around. They keep turning around, and you do it again.
But more specifically, what were you doing before all this? I know you were a trapeze artist, of all things. How did you go from that to becoming a jazz recording artist?
Well, I'm going to try and make this short because it's a long story, but I'll give you the bullet points, which are: I was living in Seattle with my husband, and we were running a circus school and event center, and that was what we did full time in addition to performing. And he knew that I was a good singer. He knew, because I sang in a lot of our shows at the events. And so he was listening to Spotify one day and heard Shelley Berg's Trio. He heard the Blackbird CD, and he thought to himself, now here's a person who has a sound that really fits with the way that Kari sings. And so he cold emailed him. He emailed Shelley out of the blue, and Shelley answered the next day. And even to this day, people have asked Shelley, like, why did you answer that email? Because he says, he gets hundreds of emails a day and a lot from people who want to work with him. And here's somebody he's never heard of. And he said, it was just a feeling. And so he and my husband set up, they arranged a meeting for us in Miami. But the interesting part about all of this is that he didn't tell me because he thought I would be mad at him for kind of going behind my back and doing this. So
this guy is so smart. He is really smart.
He's very shrewd. And so I was a little peeved, but I was intrigued. And so we booked flights to Miami. And here's where it gets really funny, because Shelley was actually in transit on his way home from something to do with the Grammys, and because he was nominated that year. And he was flying home and his flight was delayed. And so there are my husband and I at his home with his wife, who we've never met. And he's not going to be there for another hour. And by now, the flight has been delayed so many times that it's actually after midnight. And so he arrives just before 1 a.m. and we've never met. He comes home from his trip and he basically says, hi, okay, so why are we here? And I said, I'm hoping to do a demo, hoping to put something out into the world because it's been a while. And he said, well, let's sing some songs. And so my husband and his wife went into the kitchen. Shelley and I went to his piano, which is in the middle of his living room. And we sang 3 songs. And the first song I gave to him was Wild as the Wind. And he basically looked it up on his phone to get the chord progressions and then played it all the way through with me. And we recorded it on his phone. And that was the beginning of the arrangement for Wild as the Wind. So anyway, was
it the right key? I mean,
oh yeah, Shelley just knows. Right, Shelley just knows. And so,
can you tell everyone who Shelley is, please?
Oh yes, absolutely. Shelley Burgo. He's a 4-time Grammy nominee, and he's the dean of the Frost School of Music in Miami. And he is an incredible pianist, arranger. He's worked with everyone from Gloria Estefan to Stevie Wonder to Josh Groban. I mean, he's worked with everyone. And funny enough, like he kind of calls himself the pianist that you've never heard of, but you've definitely heard, because he's been on so many recordings. And so he, at the end of our meeting, our little 3-song meeting in his house, said, okay, let's make a record. And I didn't know what to say because that wasn't really the intention of going there. But he said, let's do this. And so he said, send me your song selection. And I sent him 6 songs and he arranged them. And he chose the players because they were all people that he had worked with in the past, people that he knew would fit the project. They just happened to be some of the best session players in the world. And they trusted him because they'd worked with him before. And they said, if Shelley vouches for this person, then we play with this person. And so that was how it was born.
Love me, say you do. Let me fly away with you, for my love is like the wind, and wild is the wind. Give me more than one caress, by this hungriness. Let the wind blow through your heart, for wild is a wind, wild is the wind. You touch me, I hear the sound of mandolins. You kiss me, with each kiss my life begins. You're spring to me, all things to me. Don't you know your life itself? With each kiss, my life begins. You're a spring to me, everything to me. Don't you know your life itself? Like a leaf clings to a tree. Oh, my darling, cling to me, for we're like creatures of the wind. Is the way, the way.
How did you choose your repertoire?
So the first 6 songs that I chose were, just songs that I liked and songs that, because in my mind, this was just going to be a demo. This was just going to be a high level demo that I could use to shop around for, getting gigs or whatever. But the magic was such in the studio that when we were done, they said, this can't be just six songs. This has to be an album. So then I had to choose 6 more. And actually, Shelley ended up choosing 2 of the songs. He chose Too Late Now, and he chose I'll Be Around. We kind of worked on the final 6 together at his place in Miami and came up with 6 more. And then we went back into the studio a couple months later and finished the album. So it was a very exciting time.
Too late now to forget your smile, the way we cling when we danced a while. Too late now to forget and go on to forget your voice, the way one word makes my heart rejoice. It's too late now to imagine myself away. We've done together, I relive when we're apart, all the tender fun together stays on my heart. How could I ever close the door and be the same as I was before? Darling, no, I can't anymore. It's too late now. stays on in my heart. How can I ever close the door and be the same as I was before? Darling, no, I can't anymore. It's too late. It's too late. Too late. Too late.
Kari, that was beautiful. So now, please tell us about your new CD, If.
I guess it was about May of 2021 when I emailed Shelley and said, I have this idea to record, not just another album, but a number of songs, like a greater number of songs, so that I could maybe even stretch it to 2 albums. And he said, I think that's a great idea. And I said, I want to do it at Capitol Records in LA. And he said, I think that's a great idea too. We wanted this iconic room and the iconic sound. And so we talked a couple times, and Shelley ended up coming here to my house, and we sat at my piano this time, and we went through probably about 25 songs that I had picked out, and then maybe a dozen that he had picked out. And we just sort of played with them and just figured out what felt right. So that was different because we both really collaborated a lot. We ended up recording 15 songs in October 2021.
If blood would flow when flesh and steel are one, drying in the color of the evening sun, tomorrow's rain will wash the stains away, but something in our minds will always stay. Perhaps this final act was meant to clinch a lifetime argument, that nothing comes from violence and nothing ever could. For all those born beneath an angry star, lest we forget how fragile we are. On and down the rain will fall like tears from a star, like tears from a star. On and down the rain will say how fragile we are, how fragile we are. not just for some, but for everyone. We don't need another mountain. There are mountains and hillsides enough to climb. There are oceans and rivers enough to cross, enough to last until the end of time.
I basically ended up choosing the 8 songs that went on this album out of the 15. And out of all of them, they were all songs that I had chosen that I wanted to do. And, you know, Shelley kind of, when I pitched him, I didn't mean to turn you on, you know, he's like, that 80s song?
I love
with
it.
Robert Palmer.
What?
And I was like, yep. And he goes, how do you hear it? And I was like, I hear it as a funk song. And he starts playing something on the piano and it's like this. And I was like, just like that. And I was like, but it needs horns. And so he ended up writing a horn arrangement for that. And then he ended up writing a horn arrangement for I Can't Help It. And we just had a blast. Yeah, I kind of wanted to do what she did with it, you know, flip it on its head. And the well-known version is the Robert Palmer version. And I just thought, this song is this deserves a little refresh. It's a great song.
I didn't mean to turn you on. turn you on. Now I know you were expecting a one-night stand when I refused. I knew you wouldn't understand. I'm sorry, baby, I didn't mean to turn you on. Now I told you twice I was only trying to be nice, only trying to be nice. Ooh, I didn't mean to turn you on. Now why should I feel guilty 'cause I won't give, guilty 'cause I won't give in? I didn't mean to turn you on. When I took you out, I knew what you were all about, but when I did, I wasn't trying to lead you on. I'm sorry, baby, I didn't mean to turn you on. I didn't mean it. I didn't mean to turn you on. Yeah. I didn't mean it. Didn't mean to turn. I didn't mean it. I didn't mean to turn you on.
I love your choice of a Jeff Buckley song.
Yeah, just one of my very favorite albums of all time, the album Grace from Jeff Buckley, his only widely released really popular album. He died very tragically, very young, and this album really didn't leave my 5-disc changer in the 90s. It just stayed there, and this song in particular is really moving for me. Just a kind of a tragic yet hopeful song, which is that's kind of my wheelhouse. That's kind of where I live, is in the tragic but hopeful.
Looking out the door, I see the rain fall upon the funeral mourners, parading in a wake of sad relations as their shoes fill up with water. Maybe I'm too young to keep good love from going wrong. But tonight you're on my mind, so you never know. I'm broken down and hungry for your love, with no way to feed it. Where are you tonight, child? 'Cause you know how much I need it. Too young to hold on, and too old to just break free and run. Sometimes I know I get carried away when I feel like I should be having my fun. I'm much too blind to see the damage I've done. And sometimes I know I must awake to find the really I know. So I'll wait for you and I'll burn. Will I ever see your sweet return? Oh, will I ever learn? Oh, lover, you should have come over. It's not too late. Lonely is the room, the bed is made, the open window lets the rain in. Oh, burning in the corner is the only one who dreams she had you with her. My body turns and yearns for a sleep that won't ever come. It's never over. My kingdom for a kiss upon your shoulder. It's never over. All my riches for your smiles when I slept so soft against you. Oh, it's never over. Hold my blood for the sweetness of your laughter. Oh, it's never over. You're a tear that hangs inside my soul forever. But maybe I'm just too young to keep good love from going wrong. Hey, love, you should have come over. Feel too young to hold on. I'm much too old to break free and run. Too deaf, dumb and blind to see the damage I've done. Oh, lover, you should have come over. It's not too late. It's not too late.
Kari, there was no letdown with this album.
Thank you. Yeah, I think this album departed from the first in the way that, the first album was really about unrequited love and really kind of mm, almost hopeless because it was all about not being loved and loving someone who doesn't love you back and wanting something that you can't have. And that was tough. And
I
this
know the
album,
feeling.
this album, I really wanted it to, I really wanted it to have more hope. I wanted it to be a little more on the other side of um, of that feeling of unrequited love. I wanted it to be that maybe you have loved or maybe you are loving. Maybe it's not going as well as you hoped, but at least it's not such a desperate sort of lonely feeling. It's got more, I don't know, more to look forward to, I think.
Looking in my mirror took me by surprise. I can't help but see you running off and through my mind, helpless like a baby, sensual disguise. And I can't help but love you. It's getting better all the time. I can't help it if I wanted to, wouldn't help it even if I could. I can't help it if I wanted to, wouldn't help it. No, I can't help it if I wanted to, wouldn't help it even if I could. I can't help it. No, no, no. Love to run my fingers softly while you sigh. Love came and possessed you, bringing sparkles to your eyes, like a trip to heaven. Heaven is a prize, and I'm so glad I found you. You're an angel in disguise. I can't help it if I wanted to, wouldn't help it even if I could. I can't help it if I wanted to. No, no, no. I can't help it if I wanted to, wouldn't help it even if I could. I can't help it. Oh,
Kari, we had to wait a while to do this interview. You disappeared off the scene not long after If's release.
During the release, I was on the jazz cruise out of Florida with a whole bunch of jazz musicians. And then a few weeks later, just as the album was sort of picking up speed, I hopped on a plane and flew to Africa. And I was in Tanzania, where I climbed Mount Kilimanjaro with a group of kidney donors, just like me, who wanted to raise awareness about being a living organ donor and what that means post donation, and what that means, what you can still do as a living donor.
Kari, what a beautiful and selfless act. Well, where can listeners find all your stuff, your CDs, your bio, your information?
All my stuff is on my website, and it's just my name. It's KariKirkland, KariKirkland.com. And you can find me on all the social sites, most of them as well. And I love chatting with friends and fans. And, I try to stay active on email and Instagram a lot. Come and say hi and see what's going on in my world.
Thank you, Kari.
Thank you. And thank you for supporting independent artists and for playing such an eclectic mix and interesting mix of music on your show. Cause it's, I love listening, and I unfortunately have to listen after the show is over now, but I never leave a show, not finding out about someone that I'd never heard of before. And that's because of you. So thank you.
Well, thank you.